So my topic is diabetes remission, hope or hype. Um, so first of all, I would like to thank the organizers, Dr. Sanjeev Patak, Dr. Rutul Goklani, Dr. Pratap Jetwani, Dr. Akash Singh, Dr. Kamaldeep Chawla, Dr. Parag Rana, Dr. BK Soni, and Dr. Dishang Patel. Thank you so much for inviting me here to give this talk. So we all know diabetes in India is growing in leaps and bounds. In the last few years, it has grown tremendously. It is in epidemic proportions. 777 million were there about 5 years ago. It is scheduled to go to about 134 million, and this is a growing problem in our country. We are the home to the world's second largest number of people with diabetes. And what's very important is 1 out of 7 diabetic adults worldwide resides in India. And 1 out of 3 households in India has diabetes. So it's all over. And now the topic given to me today is diabetes remission. What does diabetes remission mean? Diabetes remission is when the blood sugar levels stay in the normal range without the use of medication for a period of at least 6 months. Now, the remission early concepts was that, first of all, it used to start as reversal. There is a difference between reversal and remission. Reversal is something which goes into a reverse gear, like how when you're driving a car, if you're going forward, you put it in a reverse and it goes in reverse. So that is reversal. Whereas remission is a period during which in a serious illness, which improves for a period of time and the patient seems to get better. So the patient usually goes off medication and stays off medication for at least 6 months in this case. The 2021 definition, which was arrived at after a consensus, was that they should be, the HbA1c should be less than 6.5 without the use of any oral anti-diabetic medications for at least 3 months. So the consensus report criteria was HbA1c less than 6% without medication. If not, then if the HbA1c was unreliable, then it would be less than 7 millimole per liter. Also, we can see with CGM, the HbA1c should be measured just before starting and the intervention and also after 3 months. The testing and complication screening, of course, should continue. The scope for remission should be, it's not for everyone. Everyone cannot go into remission. This usually applies to people with type 2 diabetes. Type 1 diabetes, there is no remission, except for some people who think that, they are able to do it, but scientifically, it has been proven that type 2 diabetes is the one that can be go into remission. We also have to be very clear that this is not a cure, because a lot of times people say that, diabetes, I will cure it. There is no cure for diabetes as of now. But what we can do with the help of medication, with lifestyle, is to see to it that they have remission. Because there still is underlying beta dysfunction. There is insulin resistance, which also does remain. And there is nothing like partial remission, complete remission, prolonged remission, because these are all ambiguous terms and they are not helpful for anybody. Also, in remission, metabolic abnormalities persist. So therefore, ongoing monitoring is very important. You have to keep checking the blood sugars, the HbA1c periodically. You also have to check for complications. Like I said, HbA1c sometimes might be unreliable in people who have hemoglobin variants, or where there is a situation where there's a HbC survival is altered. So then in that case, the fasting blood sugar should be less than 126, or the estimated ABG from the CGM should be less than 6.5. What's very important is that HbA1c should be repeated at least once a year, and there should be a routine screening of the retina, of the kidney function, as well as the foot examination, because these are the main complications of diabetes. You have to keep checking them whether there is remission or not. Also, this has to be told to the person that you might go in, your blood sugars might be normal, but all these things have to be monitored. A 12-member international expert panel had concluded that remission is what it is, and rather than having terms like reversal, resolution. Now, remission can be achieved in various ways. It can be because of with lifestyle changes, which means diet, exercise. It can be with bariatric surgery, or it can be with medical management also. So these are the things that are done. Now, there are examples of diabetes remission after severe weight loss, like people who lose a significant amount of weight, then post-gestational diabetes, after delivery, there's an amount of weight that is lost, that also can bring about remission. After bariatric surgery, after stress-induced diabetes, or even sometimes drug-induced diabetes, like we see sometimes people are on steroids for some other reason and their blood sugars start going up. So that also could happen. We all know about the twin cycle hypothesis, wherein the pancreas is rebooted. In type 2 diabetes, there's an increase in the liver fat is exported, and then there is increase in the pancreas fat. And this brings about a reduction of the beta cell function. When we are in remission, the liver fat is reduced, the liver fat is the reduction in the export of it, the pancreas fat also reduces, and the beta cell function improves, and insulin sensitivity also improves. So we are aware of this twin cycle hypothesis, how the reversal works, the remission works. What's very important is that weight loss is the key. Whether you use low-fat diet, low-carb diet, keto diet, intermittent fasting, increase in physical activity, surgery, pharmacotherapy, all can be used. But what is very important is the sustainability. This weight loss has to be sustained. It should not be that they lose 15 kilos and within a year or two they gain back not just 15 kilos, they gain back about 20 kilos. So monitoring and follow-up is very important. What are the challenges which are faced in low-calorie diet? Hyperuricemia, gallbladder stones are there. Then a lot of times the diets are difficult to follow because they are either monotonous or the timings are a bit rigid. There is intolerance to some foods. The satiety is not there. So motivating people is a very difficult task. Motivating people with diabetes is tough. You have to keep either messaging them or sending them motivational thoughts, various kind of things. Now, who can aim for diabetes remission? Those who are type 2 diabetes, who are less than 5 years duration, people who have a BMI of more than 25 kilogram per meter square, less number of OADs. Less number means less than about 3 OADs at the time of enrollment. And they should be willing and motivated. This is very important. If they are not willing and motivated, because it is very tough to follow the diet as well as the exercise for at least a period of 8 to 12 weeks. Now, the hope. What is the hope? Evidence says that there is hope. Lifestyle interventions, intensive weight loss trial, which we saw in the DIRECT trial, the low carb diet, which is beneficial, even the bariatric surgery. This does show high long-term remission rates. The promises are there that when the calorie restriction is there and the patient is properly selected, they can go into remission without the use of medication, and about 50% are able to maintain the remission. The medication is very important. We have to be very careful. Though we discontinue the medication sometimes, but ideally it should be tapered so that they do not again relapse. Combination therapies are used and multiple drugs initially might be used. SGLT2 and GLP1 are what show a lot of promise. Of late, you all have been seeing the new launch of the new GLP1 agents, which is causing a lot of weight loss. So these are some of the things that can be used for remission. The original diet program, the direct program, was when these people were kept for about 3 months on a very low calorie diet of about 800 calories or so, which included just 3 pouches of meal substitution and 1 bowl of salad. Subsequently, food was reintroduced after about 3 months, and this was continued for about 2 to 8 weeks. This did cause a significant amount of weight loss. Among 298 people were there, and they were able to reduce significantly. Monitoring, as I said, it is very important. HbA1c, the oral glucose tolerance test is also used to detect if the person is relapsing. Complication screens, particularly for the microvascular screening. Lifestyle support, this is very important, because once they go back into their normal lives and start eating food, it is very difficult for them to control the kind of food that they eat, the kind of choices that they have to make. So that's why this is very important, to see to it that the person remains in touch with the healthcare provider. Another thing is that the expectations of the person need to be explained, and so we can prevent the relapse of the remission with patient education. The hype is the promises. A lot of times media or other people, or I would say quacks also, say that reversal is possible, everything is possible, goodbye to diabetes, there is a secret formula, all these things are there, but these are not sustainable. It's not for all patients, like I said earlier. It's for people who have a long duration of diabetes. It will be difficult to do it. The beta cell function also varies, and the presence of autoantibodies are also there. Okay, so this is the direct clinical trial wherein 298 people were selected for, and they were all overweight with diabetes. About 149 people had a diet replacement, and about 149 were on control therapy. The average weight that the people who were on the counterweight program lost about 10 kilos, and the ones who were on the control program lost only 1 kilo. 46% of the people who were in the counterweight program were into remission, whereas 4% of those who were in the control group. So, could remission reduce the diabetes-related micro and macrovascular complications? Yes, if the HbA1c is less than 6.5, the chances of micro and macrovascular complications is reduced. So therefore, it is very important to see to it that they are able to reach that range. We all saw in the diabetes prevention program as well as the Darkwing study that if the blood sugars are within normal limits, the complications are reduced. The other studies which showed the role of remission, the Look Ahead trial, this also showed that lifestyle intervention reduced the nephropathy, retinopathy, and neuropathy symptoms, and overall it caused a decrease in the cardiovascular disease. The weight loss impact is about 10% of weight loss in the first year, leads to about 21% reduction in the cardiovascular events, and those who achieve remission, about 40% of reduction in the cardiovascular events. So this is of course mediated with weight loss and improved HDL, cholesterol, and fitness. Even the direct trial, which was 5-year follow-up, showed the successful intervention associated with fewer clinical events. So how do we manage a patient? Ideally, a person, the first time you see the person, the discussion should be about what are the goals of management. Whether they just want, just simply they want pharmacotherapy, whether they are ready for an intensive lifestyle, which would include diet, exercise, weight loss, or if they are overweight, if their BMI is more than 40, would they be willing for metabolic surgery? So these are the options that we must discuss with the person. And once we are able to come to a conclusion as to what thereafter they should be provided with the diabetes self-management education and support services. This would help to see that they go into remission and thereafter they're able to see to it that not just their blood sugar is controlled, but also they are able to avoid the complication. Future, we don't know, maybe there will be better tools to predict remission, there will be novel therapies to boost the beta cell function, personalized remission programs, that is what should be the need of the hour. Understanding the long-term sustainability and continue the research in this. So what are the challenges and risks? Sustainability is uncertain. Remission after often relapses with weight regain or lifestyle changes. The metabolic memory, the glycemic damage does continue. There is a time sensitive window that preferably you should do it in the first 6 years of diagnosis, and late intervention sometimes might not be successful. Medications, when they are on, the sudden stoppage might lead to silent hyperglycemia if we are not monitoring the blood sugars. Sometimes overconfidence also might lead to a delay in the re-intervention. If they are not checking their sugars and they feel that their blood sugars are normal, they might take some time to come back and they might have relapsed. The patient adherence and support is very important. Sustained lifestyle needs to be constantly reinforced. There is a lack of long-term follow-up and thereby leading to a loss of control. Social and economic barriers. A lot of people find it difficult to follow the low-calorie diet. There is no structured program. Continuous glucose monitoring might be difficult for them to access. Cultural dietary patterns are there which conflict with the recommended regimes. And there is a lack of long-term data. So we still need a lot of more of real-world data to be able to say that how good remission will be. So to conclude, the hype and the hope. When the hope, when it's built on science, is good. It has a good future. Unfortunately, the hype, when it is used irresponsibly, then it can cause a disaster. Remission is a milestone. It is not the finish line. Once the person reaches a target of 6.5, they should be able to be told that they should be able to manage and to see to it that it remains in this range, not that they've finished the test and they can go on with their life. And this is something that I like to share because I think we as doctors first need to I'm finished. So because there was a study done in Gujarat which showed that 20% of the doctors are obese and 53% are diabetic, 24% are hypertensive. So we need to look after ourselves before we are able to advise our patients. Thank you.